In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. The Seven Skies, Session 1. Quran has mentioned seven skies several times, and by that it means the skies which are around the earth, not the sky which contains the stars and the galaxies. In this session, God willing, I will talk about 4 of these verses. Number 1, chapter 2, chapter Bagara, verse 29 states, He is the one who created for you all that is in the earth. Then he directed himself to the sky. So he made them complete 7 skies. I have translated the Arabic word sabahone to complete, but the exact meaning is made them exactly as they should be. An artist who draws the portrait of a person or makes his or her statue should draw and paint his picture or make his statue exactly like him. This is the meaning of Sabahone, about the 7 skies. So God made them exactly as they should be. All parts of them have been exactly the same that God wanted. Number 2, chapter 40, chapter Ghafir, verse 64 states, Allah is He who made the earth a resting place for you and the sky a canopy. 1. This verse states that God made the earth a resting place for us. If we know the history of the earth, we realize that the earth has had a very, very hectic and dangerous history. First, the small and big stones were made from the gas. These stones would hit each other and would become larger. By joining each other, would become larger. And after hundreds of millions of years that this hitting each other continued, the earth was made. But it was full of volcanoes, which would produce a hot gas and smoke, plus hot lava, which was liquid, but after cooling down, it would become stones. Then gradually the volcanoes stopped their activities and the earth became suitable for the life. 2. The verse states that God made the sky a canopy for us. The skies exactly like a canopy protect the life, including the human beings, from the dangers which are around us and above us. Number 3, chapter 78, chapter Naba, verse 12 states, And we made above you 7 strong ones. This means that the 7 skies which are above us are strong. These 7 skies are very strong at their places and do not mix with each other. They even do not dent each other. And they are also strong for protecting us from the dangers which are outside of them. When I talk about them according to the science, we will see that they really are very strong. Number 4, chapter 37, chapter Safat, the first verse states, I swear to those who draw themselves out. I swear to those who draw themselves out in ranks. The word ranks has been used 2 times in this verse, which means that these ranks are very important. In some chapters of Quran, God swears when mentioning a verse. These swears show that these verses are very important. So here that God swears to these ranks, He tells us that these ranks of the 7 skies are very important. As I mentioned before, 1, they do not mix with each other, and 2, they do not bend or crack because of the pressure of the forces outside of them, which threaten the life on Earth. Now let us see what the science says about these 7 skies. The specialists of the atmosphere state that there are 5 layers of air around the Earth which are on top of each other. And above them are 2 layers of magnetism. Outside these 7 skies are cosmic rays and lots of stones. And both groups, the cosmic rays and the stones, are fatal for all living creatures, including the human beings. But these 7 stones, when they come to the earth, their speed becomes 30 times faster than the speed of the bullet. So even a piece of grain can kill a person if it hits him. But these 7 skies protect the life from them. It is very important to know that in the 5 skies that have air, the temperature alternatively changes. Above the first layer, that is where we live in, is the second layer. Here the temperature increases. At the third layer, the temperature decreases. And at the fourth layer, it again increases. We don't know the cause of this, but most probably in the future, the science will show us why this happens. Also, between the layers, there are buffer zones. Between each 2 layers, there is a buffer zone that its temperature does not change. Again, we don't know why, but hopefully the science will show us. Let me explain a little more. The first sky is called the troposphere. The troposphere is the sphere which is covering the Earth, and the Earth is inside of it, and it is in contact with the Earth. The troposphere has all things that we need for living, like oxygen, water, and water. It grows plants, and as a result, it causes animals to live, and the human being, which needs all of this. At the lower part, its temperature is rather high because of its contact with the earth. But when it goes up, its temperature gradually decreases. And at the upper part of the troposphere, the temperature becomes a few degrees below 0 degrees centigrade. So the waters which are there become ice. Between the troposphere and the second sky, which is called the stratosphere, surprisingly, there is a buffer zone which is a few kilometers thick, very thick, and its temperature is a few degrees below 0, and it remains constant throughout. Why the temperature does not change here, we don't know. At the second sky, the stratosphere, the temperature starts at a few degrees below 0 and it gradually increases. When there is the buffer zone between the second sky, then there is the buffer zone between the second sky and the third sky, again a few kilometers thick, and its temperature is high. Exactly the temperature of the upper part of the second sky. At the third sky, the mesosphere, the temperature gradually decreases. I said alternatively they increase or they decrease. Once they increase, the next time they decrease, one again they increase, and again they decrease. So here at the mesosphere, the third sky, the temperature gradually decreases and it reaches to minus 100 degrees centigrade. Then is the buffer zone between it with the upper sky, and the temperature in this buffer zone for a few kilometers is minus 100 degrees centigrade. And then there is the thermosphere, which is the fourth layer. Here the temperature starts at minus 100 degrees, but it gradually increases. And at the top of it, the temperature becomes surprisingly 1500 degrees centigrade. The fifth sky is called exosphere. Here the air is very, very thin. There are just very light atoms, like mostly hydrogen and some helium, and the air is gradually losing them. The distance between one molecule with the other one is a few kilometers, so we cannot talk about the temperature at this level. The other two layers of the seven skies are called magnetospheres. They do not have air, but they have strong magnetisms. The first magnetosphere is produced by the Earth's central core and is around the Earth. It starts at about 1,000 kilometers above the Earth, and it extends for several thousand kilometers. When the spacecrafts reach this area of the air, all their electronic equipment will be damaged because of the severe magnetism. Unless they are covered by several inches of metals, protective metals. The duty of this layer is protecting life from the sun's charge matters, charge particles. There are charge particles coming from the sun. Some of them have positive charges. In fact, at the level outside of the sun, at the surface of the sun, the atoms disintegrate. The nucleus of them, which is called the proton and has positive charge, and the particles which move around the atom, which are called electrons, and they have negative charges, these become separated from each other and they act separately. So we have lots of charged particles coming towards the Earth. The magnetosphere of the Earth absorbs these charged particles and protects the life on Earth from them. The second magnetosphere is produced by the sun, and it is so thick that it covers all the planets which are around the sun, including the Earth. The sun's magnetosphere is much stronger than the Earth's magnetosphere. There are very strong charged particles coming from the stars and the galaxies, and they are very hazardous for the life. They are so potent that the Earth's magnetosphere cannot stop them, but the sun's magnetosphere does stop them. Thank you very much.